Close your eyes and imagine this for a second. You're in your 20s, the prime years of your life, and you are absolutely filthy rich. And I'm not talking about BMW on finance rich. I'm talking genuine, generational wealth. The type that can afford you Lamborghinis and yachts without a second thought. For a young Ray Trapani, this wasn't a figment of the imagination, it was his everyday life. Before turning 30, he had accrued more money than most people's entire bloodline. But how does someone get so rich at such a young age? The short answer, illegally. But to really answer this question, we've got to go way back to the beginning. Because in truth, Ray was born into a modest economic background. Ray was born in 1991 in Florida to a very normal middle-class family. Not exactly the backdrop you might expect of a future multi-millionaire. However, despite these fairly ordinary surroundings, Ray's ambitions were anything but. Even during his early years, Trapani showed the kind of ambition to succeed at any cost. Ray wanted money and success, and he didn't care how he got it. In fact, in a later interview, he even went as far as to say, "Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a criminal." So, while most of his buddies were dreaming of being lawyers and doctors, Ray's ambitions were, shall we say, a little left field. And during his school years, he would start to explore his criminal ambitions. Things started off with Ray using a stolen prescription pad to get meds from a local drugstore, which he would then sell for a profit, utilising his friends as dealers. This enterprise, though pretty modest, definitely exposed Ray to the way the other half lived. And, let's just say, he indulged completely. Ray grew an early assification for expensive things, and he would quickly indulge in watches and other expensive items, with the goal of letting everyone around him know he was in the money. However, an illegal drug reselling business wasn't exactly a sustainable business model. And after it was eventually busted, Ray was back at square one. All the desire, none of the cash flow. Next, Ray decided to try a business on the right side of the law, teaming up with a couple of his old classmates to create a luxury vehicle rental business. Now, what started out as a pretty innocent company would quickly spiral down into illegal tactics. The simple truth was that Ray had an expensive taste, one that his new business couldn't satisfy. Bills started creeping up, debts compounded, revenue flatlined. Before he knew it, Ray was backed into a corner as he was being closed down by loan shark and debtors. The stress eventually got so high that it led Ray to try and take his own life, as he thought this would be the only way to dig himself out of the hole that he found himself in. Thankfully, Ray came out of this depression, and almost like it was fate, just around the corner lay the path that would not only allow Ray to pay off his debts, but one that would also allow him to live the high life that he had always dreamed of. Now, in 2017, crypto was on the rise big time. Investors were making great money with the right coins, but in truth, it was the owners of the crypto companies who really benefited. Trapani was approached by one of his old classmates, Sam Sharma, who opened Ray's eyes to the potential ROI of launching a crypto company. And so, in 2017, Centra Tech was officially born. Now, when it was created, Centra Tech, to the outside world, looked to be raising seed capital through an initial coin offering, like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum. At the same time, the company was allegedly in the process of creating a Visa debit card so that the currency could be used during ordinary transactions. To build trust with the market, Ray and Sam hammered home the fact that the company was backed by the best finance and tech gurus in the business, all of whom had degrees and years of experience in the industry. Naturally, the allure of the crypto boom coupled with this seemingly prestigious board of directors, made Centratech an instant hit with investors, and it quickly gained traction. Big celebrities like Floyd Mayweather Jr. got behind the initiative, investing big money for the opportunity to get their hands on this investment opportunity. In total, the company was able to raise over $25 million through its initial coin offering, more than enough for Ray to pay back his debts and live the luxurious lifestyle that he had always dreamed of. By 2018, the company was worth upwards of $60 million. However, as Centratech began to garner more popularity, especially in the media, things just stopped adding up. Now, before we get into just how crazy things get, if you haven't already, please pound that subscribe button. It's completely free, and it'll help prevent scammers from robbing you and your entire life savings. So please, do yourself a favour, subscribe, or be scammed. Trapani, for instance, couldn't give any evidence of the existence of the so-called CEO, Michael Edwards, arguing that he was behind the scenes ghostwriter type. But when the pressure about Edwards and his whereabouts ramped up, Trapani suddenly announced that he had died in a car accident overnight. Incredibly convenient for someone whom no one had ever actually seen or spoken to, don't you think? Oh, and the new CEO? Trapani's grandfather. Yeah, not exactly the replacement to this financial titan that you might expect, but someone who could be manipulated easy. Things just weren't making sense at the company. Pressure compounded. Cracks started to show. And before long, the authorities began to notice. So, in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission brought in an official complaint against Centra. What they found was terrifying. Simply put, everything about Centratech was a lie. All of the executive team, the ones with years of experience and industry expertise, were fictional. CEO Michael Edwards, fake. His tragic car accident, also fake. Ray and Sam had made all these characters up to make Centratech look like a company worth investing in. Essentially, they pulled the wool over thousands of investors' eyes, with the one goal of getting their investment. Not so they could grow the company, but so they could pay off their debts and live the good life. There was no initial coin offering, no investment opportunity, no company. Just two individuals with a great story and a lot of debt to pay. Trapani pleaded guilty to over 10 offences, including the likes of securities fraud and wire fraud. Sharma and other key players, such as Robert Farkas, the company's CFO, were likewise convicted for fraud and were handed 8-year sentences. Farkas was released after a year, while Sharma is still serving as of the time of making this video. Now, the funny thing is that Trapani, the main man behind the entire organisation, never served a day in prison, thanks to his, quote, extraordinary cooperation with the prosecution team. So, let's just get this straight. Trapani almost single-handedly conned thousands of investors into giving him millions of dollars for a company that didn't even exist, and he got to walk away from it without so much as a slap on the wrist. The funny thing is that Trapani has actually spoken out on this whole ordeal, saying that evading prison time was just too easy to do. And nowadays, Trapani is living an incredible good life considering his past. While his co-founder rots in prison, he's sipping water in the sun, driving fast cars, and enjoying the freedom he probably shouldn't have. Safe to say, he played the game well. Very well. Now, if you enjoyed this story about Ray Trapani, you're going to be blown away by this next story about a fake German heiress in New York. It honestly makes Ray's life look pretty ordinary. Click the link on the screen now, and I'll take you there.